It's Mejia.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy Danny Mejia, aka Mejia Made. Today, I'm gonna be showing y'all how to make this hard-hitting AZ Chike beat. So let's get into it. All right, y'all. So let's get into the breakdown. The first thing we're gonna start off with is this ARP, which is the foundation for the whole beat. So the VST I use for this ARP actually comes from Arcade by Output. I use the Dreamtime Tines library, and this is the sound that I use for it. So once I had looped that, I consolidated it, and then as we can see over here, I pitched it down -4 semitone. Now let's go ahead and see what effects I added. The first thing I added is this tape mellowify. I use this VST just because I wanted to add some extra texture to the sound. The next thing I did is add this gross beat. I wanted to differentiate between the verse and chorus sections, so I used the half speed preset. And then finally, I added this parametric EQ too, just so that when I turn on the gross beat, I also turn on this EQ to duck out all the low end. And the last thing I did is duck off everything under 200 hertz and take off a lot of that top end all the way down to 4,000 kilohertz. So once I had my arpeggio, I knew it was time to start adding some piano because, of course, it's a West Coast beat. It's not a West Coast beat if it doesn't have a piano in it. So let's go ahead and listen to what it sounds like. So it's very simple triad chords. The VST I use for this piano comes from FL Keys. I use the Grand Piano preset. Now for the effects, the one and only plugin I added is Cassette. I use this Torley Mellow My Harsh preset. And then finally, I deducted some of that low end down to 90 hertz. So after I had laid out those chords, I knew it was time to start adding another piano, but something that sounded a little bit more dark because I wanted this beat to be really dark, something that AZ Chike would actually get on. So I added this. So I'm gonna quickly play the chords along with that lower octave piano, just so we can start to see how they both complement each other. Now the VST I use for this lower octave piano comes from Spitfire Audio. It's called Labs. I use the tape piano capstan upright preset. For this piano, the only thing I did is deduct some of that low end up until 90 hertz. Next up, I wanted to layer those first chords of the piano along with another sound, so I ended up adding these Rhodes. The VST I use for these Rhodes comes from Contact. I use the Scarby Mark 1 library with the Scarby Mark 1 Stretch Tune preset. And for those of y'all that have been tuning into my videos, you already know my ultimate duo, Tape Mellowify and Pancake 2. I use the Fat Analog preset. And the other plugin I use is Pancake 2. Basically what this plugin does is pans your sound from left to right. For this sound in particular, I only turned up the mix up to 24%. And then finally, I deducted that low one up until 125 hertz. Next up, I wanted a counter melody. I ended up going with this piano sound right over here. For this sound, I unfortunately deleted the VST I used, but I'm pretty sure it comes from Labs as well. And then finally, as far as the instrumentation goes, I added just one more layer, which is this pad sound. The VST I use for this pad sound comes from Hype 2. I use the AZ Lullaby preset. So really quickly, I'm gonna just solo out only the instrumentation, which is everything that I've broken down so far. Let's listen to what they all sound like together. So now let's go ahead and start digging into the drums. The first thing I started off with is this snap. Next up, I added the infamous West Coast stomp. Then I added these hi-hats. So as y'all can see down here, I did end up messing with the velocity on some of the notes. Next up, I added this open hat. Then I added this percussion over here. I also added this shaker. Then I added this rim shot that plays at the end of every 4 bars. And y'all know I love to layer my hi-hats, so I went with this hi-hat as well. For the verse sections, I just wanted to add another element, so I went with this crouch hand over here. So after I had added all that percussion, I knew it was time to start adding that low end. Of course, I used this 808 over here. Let's listen to what it sounds like. For the verse section, I didn't want to switch up the pattern of the 808, so I'm going to go ahead and play that real quick. And then right before it hits the next chorus section, I wanted to do something a little bit different with the beat. So what I ended up doing is add this clap over here. After I added that clap, I wanted to add a different type of bass line, something that wasn't an 808. So I went ahead and added this synth bass. The VST I use for this sound comes from Expand 2. I used the flat analog thump preset. For this sound, the only thing I did is deduct a lot of that top end down to 5 kilohertz. During that same little section, I decided to add this tubular bell. So I'm going to quickly play that little section just so we can hear everything in context. Right before it gets to that section that I just played, I knew I wanted to add a transition sound, so I went with this cash register sound. So let's go ahead and solo out just the drums, just so we can hear what everything is doing. So that was pretty much all for the beat. I'm gonna go ahead and play the beat in full just so we can hear everything in context. So that's it for this beat breakdown. That's how y'all can make a hard-hitting AZ Chike beat. If y'all made it this far into the video, I do have one question for y'all. What type of content would you like to see from this channel? I'm trying to diversify the type of content I make and make something that you guys actually want to watch. If y'all gained any type of insight from this video, please leave a like, please leave a comment. It's really going to help the channel grow. If y'all are new to the channel, I put out 4 videos a month. That's 2 beat breakdowns, just like I did today. I break down my own samples and I also do sample flip challenges. With that being said, I'm going to catch y'all next week for a sample breakdown. Until then, stay blessed.